Hey guys, Graham here from therecordingrevolution.com with another 5 minutes to a better mix video tutorial. We've been looking at 31 mixing tips in 31 days, and we're getting through these tips, guys, and I've got a lot of great ones in store for you here towards the end. Today's tip is another practical mixing philosophy. Just like yesterday's, we looked at mixing in mono. Today, I want to talk to you about mixing at a low volume. Okay, the idea is I don't know what volume your speakers are at in your studio, or if you're using headphones for part of your mix or what have you. But no matter what volume you mix at, I can guarantee that it's easier to make your mix sound awesome when you crank the volume than it is when you turn down the volume. And we do this naturally, right? We really love the way the mix is coming together. We want to hear that great, awesome part that's coming up. So what do? We turn up the volume and it sounds exciting. But all that does is just hype the lows, hype the highs. It makes things cut through the mix so we hear and feel things better, and we internally feel better about the mix. But that's not going to help you really, right? That's going to make you feel good in the moment. But when you bounce that down and you throw that mix up on the internet, or you give it to the client for them to listen to, they're going to listen to it in lots of different environments, probably at a more conservative volume, and it's going to sound like it's falling apart. You're going to lose all that crack and all that energy, and they're going to say, hey, this doesn't sound good. You'll be like, hey, it sounded good to me. That's a problem. That's what we need to fix, because I want you to deliver the best mix you can, not trick yourself into thinking you're mixing well. And one of the easiest ways to do this is to simply turn down the volume while you mix in general, and then substantially turn it down to check your mix at low volumes. Because if you can get the punch and the clarity and the EQ and the compression just right so that you hear and feel things really well with the volume being low, it's going to definitely sound great when you crank the volume. So step number one, when you mix, turn the volume down on your speakers to a point where you could still probably have a conversation with someone in the room right next to you without having to really raise your voice. That's a comfortable level to be mixing at. Force yourself to get used to mixing at that level, and then do what I'm about to do right now. I want you at times to, while you're mixing, listen back to your mixing decisions at a really low volume. What I'm going to do right here is just press play on a mix, and I'm going to slowly turn down the master fader. What I'm going to listen for, what I typically listen for, is, can I still hear the kick? Can I still hear the snare? And can I still hear the lead vocal? You're going to lose some of the bass response when you get a lower volume, and that's natural. You're going to lose maybe some of the intricacies of the guitars. That's almost unavoidable. But I want to make sure that the key kick, snare, and vocal elements are still there, and that they don't completely fall apart. They don't get really thin and lose their emphasis and their body when I turn the volume down. If so, then I know that I really don't have the EQ and compression right, so I bring the volume back up and try to fix that. So let's press play. I'll turn down the volume, and I'm just basically trying to get you to listen for things at a lower volume to kind of see and hear what I listen for when I mix. Still listening for kick, snare, vocal.
Show me again, your love will not dry up. Though I put you to shame, you still call me by name.
All right, so in essence, that's an experiment in how I would typically listen for a mix. I will pull it down to different levels and pull it way down and make sure I can still hear some of those key elements and make sure I don't completely have my mix fall apart at a lower volume. Try that as you mix. Make sure that you're not handicapping yourself by just turning up the volume and getting excited with the boost and the lows and the boost and the highs that naturally occur. Make it sound rockin' at low volumes, and then you can crank it up later when you're all done, okay? This is Graham at therecordingrevolution.com with 5 minutes to a better mix. Hope to see you on the next video, guys.